Today we've got the Radioddity X1 Pro, GMRS radio, handheld. Let's get over to the bench, take a look at it. And here we are. What do we get in the box? User's manual. Color, nice. To the point, nice. Probably should start working on making a better GMRS user's manual. Not Radioddity, me. I should probably. In case that wasn't loud enough, the quiet part. I should probably work on making a better GMRS manual. The radio itself, pretty sexy looking. Hang on, hang tight. Nobody saw anything. That's an interesting cardboard cradle. Is there something in there? Nope, there is nothing in there. I always love the origami boxes. They're like a work of art. All right, next up is the stuff of importance. We have the battery, USB-C charging. We'll find out if that's USB-C shaped or if that's really a USB-C. And here's a dead giveaway. It's USB-A to C charging cable. I have been seeing longer and longer lanyards, and then they have this separation part where you get a smaller lanyard to go with it. Not sure how I feel about those. How do you guys feel about lanyards? Leave me a comment down below, let me know. Belt clip, which clips onto the battery. And then we have the rubber duck, and then we have a USB-A charger. Awesome. Let's zoom right in here and take a look at the display and see what we're looking at, what we're working on. We might be working on a dead battery is what we might be working on. Okay, well that'll get us right to the, is this USB-C or is this USB-C shaped but really USB-A? So this is a C to C cable. First off, is there any kind of charging indicator anyway? There it is, there's a little light hidden there. So, it's USB-C. They spent the money on the extra resistor. I love it. Nice. It'd be irresponsible not to do the other part of the test. All right, my cable's not long enough. And of course it works like I thought it would. There we go. Oh, look at that screen. Did you guys see that? Let's do this again. Nice. Low power mode. OSC. What is OSC? Sounds like oscillator. Channel 01. Low power. Well, it says low, and then it says medium. Low or any power. Memory mode, M for, yeah, interesting. Let's take a look at their manual, because that's a little confusing on what that means. OSC, scan mode, open scan, okay. Low is operating power. It has voice recording playback, nice. Okay, back to the menu. Battery. Battery on or off? Well, thank you for the timeout. Battery saving. Ah, okay. Up turns it on, down turns it off. That's all you need to know. You don't need to know what that means or anything. So power, battery saving, able, dim. Okay, these menu options are heavily abbreviated. I get they're trying to make the screen look bigger, but that's at the expense of understandability. Yeah, and I guess we don't need to know what ABL stands for. Battery save, busy channel lockout, Vox, replay, transmit, scan, duplex, NRC. Yeah, we're not going to know what ABL stands for. RCS, TCS, RPL, that's the replay function. Scan, duplex mode, NRC is noise reduction, Vox, busy channel lockout, Roger beep. Is the Roger beep on? The Roger beep is on. You have a choice of on or off. That's all you get. That's the key beep. Dim. Dim is screen dimming. 3 is the brightest. All right, excellent. And then there's not really a good way to get out of the menu. So you either have to wait for it to time out, or I think you long press menu, and then it beeps back out again. So there you go. ME for memory mode, I guess. I don't think the manual tells you that either. Yeah, it's going to be up here in that area. Displays the current working channel, subtone, group display, display secondary menu. So the manual is a little bit lighter than it should be. But we need power testing. And for power testing, I need my Surecom meter, which is going to be in my Surecom case. And these things come in a variety of choose your own color, choose your own adventure. And the reason I like it is because I need to keep parts along with my Surecom meter. So I keep these guys in here, which are SMA adapters. And then I also need a dummy load. And potentially I need to do a gender change on the dummy load from male to female to make that work. So let's get this guy here all rigged up. And so what I do is I take this and I can plug it directly into the Shorecom. And in the case of this, the nut isn't in a terribly good location, but we made it work. And then Jared also includes this handy dandy little SMA wrench in there so that we can make sure that's nice and tight for our test. And then we plug this guy in here. And then I can test with the antenna itself on, but in order to do that, I really need a good ground reference. So I've also built up this tiger tail in here that will get me the proper ground reference for the antenna, because this here is only 1/2 of your antenna. Put that on, and then I will get some reflection from being inside the room. So depending on how bad the readings are, we'll test it again. And then we turn the radio on. There's not enough charge yet, still, but I wouldn't expect that. So we will plug her back in, and let's see, channel 1, and I want to just transmit and we'll see what happens. 2.41, 5 watts out, and that's going to be a reading error, measurement error there. There's my Roger beep. So now we do menu, power, and we set it to low. And what does low power look like? Low power is 1/2 watt, and you can see the SWR changes. And that's probably because the antenna is not producing a 50 ohm match. So let's switch over to our dummy load, and we can leave the tiger tail on for the dummy load test. So this is power, 1:1, 0.4 watts instead. And then we're at 4.46 watts on any power. Okay, excellent. So now, so medium power is what ME means, medium power. So this is high power on channel 22. 7.6 watts. Nice. That is a nice power output. What does our manual say our power output should be? What's our specification? Transmitter part, 7 watts, 5 watts, 1/2 watt. So better than advertised. Nice. Because we put out 7.6 watts, so 1/2 watt better than advertised. I like it. And then it looks like it is trying its best to respect the lower power requirement of the channels where that's a legal requirement.
WRNY 996 testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And then because you can receive on any radio, I've got my handy dandy Radioddity GA-5 WB.
WRNY 996 testing. 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, taking a look at their website, this thing is currently coming in at $55.99, which is on sale down from $64.99. You can get it in a 1-pack or a 2-pack, and the 2-pack's about $100. Some of the cool things about this are, like I showed you before, it actually is legitimately USB-C chargeable. So you can charge it from a power bank or from your car cigarette lighter plug or from the included wall adapter that it comes with. And then also it is IP67 waterproof and has a rugged design. They show on their website that it was tested through 1,000 drop tests for reliable performance in rain, mud, snow, trails, and outdoor work environments. So that's rain, mud, snow, trails, outdoor work environments. So 5,000 drop tests if I read that with my programmer brain. The record and replay feature is pretty cool. Never miss critical convoy instructions or hunting commands in noisy environments. Instantly replay up to 20 previous voice recordings, each up to 1 minute long, so you can quickly review important messages without asking for repeats. Probably quicker just to annoy the group. One-touch SOS, built-in flashlight, NOAA weather scan, and a weather alert tone. Nice. And of course, a GMRS license is required, which is basically, do I have a credit card that works? And am I smart enough to fill out a government form? That last part, a little bit hard, because most government websites are not easy to follow. So for that antenna problem, what I was getting at, some of my ham friends know what this means. Some of my more advanced ham friends know what this means. Some of them are also going to say that I am full of it, which is perfectly acceptable. However, normally what happens is when you get a handy-talkie, a handheld radio, the antenna that ships with it is called a rubber duck. And these are not all that great of antennas. So the fact that this antenna didn't perform all that great isn't that big of a deal. You can get better performance. Sometimes better performance means receive overload as well, so you might have trouble hearing even though you can be heard better. So there's always all kinds of trade-offs. Every antenna is a compromise antenna, and it depends is usually the answer. So when I showed that the antenna had really bad SWR, first off, handheld radios are usually designed to handle SWR mismatches better, and second, that changes the way the power meter can read the power output. If it's a 1-to-1 match with the antenna, then the power meter's reading is designed for a 50 ohm impedance and can give you proper calculations as to what the power output is. If it's wildly off, in this case it was 2 to 1 plus, that power calculation is also going to be wildly off, and you can do some math to get back to the right number, or you can get a better antenna. And so people ask me, what is the antenna that I recommend? And it is the Nagoya NA771 currently, until I find a better antenna than that. And I'll have a link in the description down below. Where it gets to be kind of an issue is it's a $50 radio, and spending 20 bucks on an antenna is kind of hard to justify, but they're swappable out to other antennas. You can also get this with a mag mount style of antenna and run the cable out of the vehicle and put it on the roof, and then you would be able to get out of the Faraday cage of the car, which is blocking your signal reception and transmission, and get your signal better heard that way. So that was a real quick look at the Radioddity X1 Pro. Lots of cool features. I like where it's going. Great big display. There is no programming software for this currently, and there is a K connector on the side. So it is possible that there might be some programming in the future, but at this time there isn't. You have to do all of your work from the front panel. It does not come with tones locked in, so you'll be able to hear local repeaters and hear other conversations. You might not be able to open a local repeater, so you're 50% of the way there. Opening the local repeater requires knowing the PL tone of the repeater's input side, and that's programmable from the front panel, so you're pretty good there. You also get 2 extra buttons on the side, and if you guys need any more information about this guy, I will leave some links in the description down below, both for the radio, for the Surecom power meter, for the case for that, and for that extra bonus antenna. In the meantime, I have a review on another GMRS handy talkie right over here. That way you can see how this compares. Thanks for being awesome. I'll see you over there.